Okay, so so far we have discussed about function and why the functions are used in Python programming or any other programming also. In Python, how we can define the function and how we can call that function. Okay, that we have seen in the last class. So this was a simple example how we can apply this function, and we have also discussed about the len function. Without using len, we can define our function, user defined function we can make, and this will look like this, right? So we have discussed this thing, and using this user defined function strlen, we can calculate any given string length. Okay, just like len function. Now today we are going to check about the return. Even though we have already discussed during this course that what is the function of return, however, again we'll start from here. Now here you can see that for adding some values we are using add underscore num. So this is our user defined function name, add underscore num, and this is the keyword def, then space, the function name, then within the bracket, within the parenthesis, we are passing some argument, right? So I'm passing num1 comma num2, so two arguments are there. Then after colon we are writing return num1 plus num2. Then we are writing, we are calling the function name with some values. Now this is not num1 num2, but we are providing the values for num1 and providing the value for num2. So that is 4 comma 5. Okay, so this is the function definition part, this is the body of the function return statement, and we are calling this function. So what will happen if we run this? It is running and it is showing the output also. So now this result here in Jupyter notebook, it is showing on the fly when the program is running. So then you can see that this is the output, that means 9 is there, but in other programming language you should print that thing. So how other environment IDE you can use print statement, and for that you can store this output in another variable, so that is easy. So here we are storing that result equals to add underscore num 4 5, that means the same thing we are writing here, and we are printing that result. Okay, so now you can check that here earlier it was showing that it is a out number, output number only. Now it is printed, so that's why this out is not here, this okay, this word out and line number is not there because it is already printed on the screen. Okay, so now you can understand that return allows the function to return a result that can be stored in a variable and which can be stored for future use or whatever manner a user wants to use this return value. So this is the advantage of using return. Okay, now can you tell me what will happen if we input 1 and 2 in this way? Now I told you that this function can be called from anywhere, so no problem if we are running after this print, it will work hopefully. You understand that even though after this function we have called this thing, but we can call it from anywhere on that particular program. So if we write this at num1 comma 2, what will happen? Anyone?
The 3 was outcome.
How you will get 3? Because these are not values, these are string, right? These are not integer, these are string.
Okay, sir.
Now here you have not checked that whether it is a string or number, but you have provided that return num1 plus num2. So it will take num1 as 1 and num2 as 2. So what it will print?
1 plus 2.
1 plus 2. That means ONE1 plus TWO2. You are saying that?
Sir, I
Yes,
think
yes.
no plus sign will be there. Only 1 and 2 will be printed together.
Right. So that is the concatenation. I told you very first day that how two pieces of DNA can be concatenated by using simply plus operator. Right. For string, this plus operator will join the two strings. So now you can check that what will happen. 1, 2, both of these letters words are just merged without any symbol, without any space. 1, 2. Okay, this is known as concatenation. All right. So next we will check how we can use different checking options using for loop and break or continue or pass statement. Now we will take any one of these examples. So let's take this easy one. So suppose we want to check that whether a number is a prime number or not. Again, the simple mathematics. For that, what we will do? Suppose we want to check for any 1 to n number of things. Okay, you don't know how many times you are going to check for that number, so obviously you will use for loop, right? When you don't know how many times that program will run, so you will use for loop. Now for loop structure is how what uh, that is for n in range 2 comma num. So that is the num. You will provide that for which number you are going to check that whether that is uh, prime or not, right? So in this way you are constructing a for loop first, and under that you are checking that whether this modulo function is 0 or not. Num modulo n, that is 0 or not. If it is 0, so print num is not prime. Then you are breaking that loop. You are breaking that loop. And outside that, you are writing else print num is prime. Okay. Only 3-4 lines of code, and all this part of code you put under this def function, and your function name here is prime. Okay, and in argument you are passing num. All right. So in this way you can construct the driver code, that is the definition and the body part. Now your calling part, function calling part. So what is the function name? Is prime, and from calling part you can pass the argument value for what you are checking, that for what you want to check, that whether that number is prime or not. So you are providing 2. Now if you run this, what will happen? It is checking and it is printing that 2 is prime. Okay, so again and again you can call this function by providing any number. Say for example here 4 is not prime. You can check for 3 is prime. Now again you check 30 is not prime. So how it is going on. Every time that for loop will work and it will check that that number is prime or not. And if it is first of all it will check for this part, and then it will break the loop, and after that it will go to else. Because check carefully, you have not included else here under the for loop, so then that will not work. Okay, after completing this for loop you are printing this else statement, so that you should remember. Okay, so you try to write this type of code, so then it will be more clear how these functions are working. Okay, now let's come to this problem. We have just now discussed about enzyme unit price like this way and how to calculate this thing. Okay, now first of all what you are going to do, and then obviously you need to check something, right? And before that you need to define the function name. So definition, that is definition part, def calculate bill, and within the parentheses you are passing unit. Okay, now if units less than equal to 100, because the concept is for the first 100 units, so obviously that value should be less or equal to 100, that unit value. If it is true, so then it will return units multiplied by 10, because the unit price is 10 here. Done. If unit less than equal to 200, so then what it will return? It will return 100 multiplied by 10, that value, plus units minus 100 multiplied by 15. Actually you are doing that, you are calculating in this way, right? Are you getting the point? Similarly, if it is less than or equal to 300, so actually you are adding three components, that is the first component, first 100, second 100, and the rest, that means units minus 200 multiplied by that value, 20. Okay, and if it is more than 300 units, so elif units greater than 300, so then it will return this value. So these are the logics. You can put if elif, and then return 0 if it is doing nothing, because we have started with if, so obviously it will end with else, this kind of thing. So you are returning 0 at last. Now your input value, now you can check with any input value, like okay, so first we'll check for this. This is a test purpose. Suppose this unit, the argument, we are passing the value of this argument 250. Okay, now you are calling this function calculate bill and this units value. So what it will do, it will print 3500. Okay, because it is calculating up to this part. So it will check it is less than or 100, no, so it will not return this. Then it will go to check this elif, it is less than or 200, it is not, so it will enter to this loop elif, and here you can see the 250, that is less than 300, so it will return this value, right? And what you have calculated earlier. So the answer is 3500, and it is printing. All right, this is clear how you can calculate this enzyme build. Is there any doubt? Okay. So if
Can you repeat this part?
which part?
The elif part, how we calculate it. I'm confused.
Okay. So see, the input value can be anything. Okay, can be anything. Here we have taken 250, but you could take 2500, or you can take 100 or 10. Any value you can take as input. So for that, you need to calculate, you need to check that which value you are giving as input. So you need to check that value first. So units, this value, user input value, that is checked whether it is less than or equal to 100. If so, so then it is calculating by that value. So we have already fixed that if it is less than 100, so it will be rupees 10 per unit. So that's why we are returning units multiplied by 10. That value will be returned. Elif, it is checking that whether that value, that units value is less than equal to 200. If it is so, so then it will return. Obviously, it will be sum of two components, that is first 100 first 100 and rest of the units, that is total units minus 200, sorry, 100. That means if it is 150, so first 100 unit price and then 200 minus 100, that is 50 units value, that is multiplied by that component, that is 15 per unit. Okay, so by this way you are checking that whether the unit value is less than or equal to some slab, like it is if it is less than or equal to 300, so it will add 3 component. If it is more than 300, so it will add 4 component. And if you are going to use many more options, so then accordingly you can use many elif condition you can add accordingly. Okay, and then at last, if it is not returning anything, so return 0. Okay, now here it is for checking purpose whether the code is running or not. So you are taking the units value as 250, so you are fixing this unit value, and then you are calling this value, calling this function calculate bill with this units value. So it will take 250 here, and then it will go back here and will check for this, and this will be calculated from here, because it will found that 250 is less than 300, right? So it will return this value. As a result, you are getting 3500. Now to make it more user defined, so what you can do, you can take the unit as an input value. Now suppose someone is asking for 250, so then you can you can calculate this as 3500. Or again, if someone is asking for 1000 units, so that will be calculated. Again, if someone is asking for only 50 units, so then also it is calculated. So this is the way how you can do the things using some user defined function. So you don't need to write all these lines multiple times if you are going to use this thing in many different places. So you can just call these calculatable functions with unit parameter. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now there are multiple functions already available in Python. So there is a list given. So these are mm, these are not user defined functions, these are already predefined functions. So do not uh, give the user defined function name which can clash with this function name. Okay, so that you should remember. You cannot use max or mean or map or next. This kind of word you cannot use as your function name. That has to be remembered. Okay. I think now you got the concept of function and return, right? Next, is there any question, any doubt? Okay. If not, so then you can write this code. So write an user-defined function to calculate the sum of two variables. User will give inputs. So I am giving 3 minutes so that 3 lines you can write. Okay, and then you tell me what I will write and the code will run. I think you understood the problem. The same problem just now you have seen, that you need to write an user defined function to calculate the sum of two variables. Now user will give the inputs. So when you run the code will ask for the first value, and then the code will ask for the second value, and then it will add those two numbers and it will show the output. Yes. So now we are moving to types of arguments. So there might be different types of arguments: required arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments, variable length arguments. Okay, so let's check with examples. Required arguments means we have already used this thing. Okay, uh, what arguments are required? You need to pass some argument. Otherwise, how that program will take the value? Just like you have seen that if you are taking two values, but you have not written that thing inside the parentheses, so it will not go to take the values from the calling part, right? So that means some arguments are always required. Say for example, here you are going to calculate the simple interest using principal amount, rate of interest, and time in years. So the three variables would be used: P, T, and R. So you can take those input from user by this way: P, T, R. And when you are going to define your function, and after that you need to write this argument P, T, R, right? And then return the value, the calculated value, P multiplied by T multiplied by R, total divided by 100. So that is the simple interest, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So this function calling part requires the argument. If you are not writing this argument when you are calling that function, so it will not going to run. Say for example, I am copying and pasting this line again. Now suppose all these things you have written perfectly and you are not passing this value, you are not passing this P, R, and T. So what will be happen? The code is running, the code is trying to get the principal amount. Say for example, you are going to fix 1 lakh rupees, and then it is for 15 years. So the interest is high, that is 7%, say for example, and time is 15 years. Now you can check that you are not getting the result because it is showing that type error, simple interest missing 3 required positional arguments P, T, and R. It is pointing out that you have missed this P, T, and R arguments in during the calling part. Okay, during the calling time. So of course you need to provide P, R, T, and then if you run, you will get that your interest amount will be 1,05,000 rupees. Okay, so in total you are going to get 2,05,000 rupees after 15 years. Okay, so this is the required argument case. So now if you understood, can you tell me what will happen here?
Sir, error.
What kind of error you will get?
Sir, one value is missing. Only one value is passed. The other one.
Right. So that means here you have predefined that 2 arguments are required, but you have provided only one. So you will get an error like calculating missing one required positional argument B. So A value it is taking as 10, but B the value you have not provided. If you modify your code with 20, so it will run. Okay. Anyway, so this is the required argument case. Now default argument. Sometimes you can fix the values of your argument at the beginning. That means function definition part. Okay, by this way, def print me. This is the function name, print me. Then name comma age. The 2 arguments, 1 argument value, that is age value, you are fixing as 52. Now when you are printing my name is name and age is age, and what we are going to get. Okay, so this is the first print statement from here, and second is print me name equals car. So that means you see the variable age is not passed here, only name is passed because you have already assigned this age variable here, the value as 52. So from the calling part, we are not going to repeat that thing. So that's why it will work. That's why it will work. You can check that. My name is Karp and age is 52. Even if you have not passed age value here, right? You have already fixed that age value. And if you are going to use another age value, so then you can change that value. So now you are writing print me age equals to 70 and name equals to Lee. Okay, now if you run this, you are getting my name is Lee and age is 70. So no matter in which order you are placing your variable name, that also need to be remembered, because the output is printing from here my name is name and age is age. So it already knows that which one is name, because name is given and age is also defined here as 70. So it will take those values and it will print the right thing. My name is Lee and age is 70. Okay.
Sir, here the carp and the 52 was added with the my name is. So which is the main function for the adding the carp and 52? Generally, when we append something, we use the append function.
Mhm.
to add extra words or extra integer string. We add through
Mhm.
this, but here we use print me only.
Mhm.
The through this we print me used to add the word with the my name is and the 52 with the ages.
Right, right, right. So that is the work going on when you are printing something. Okay. So you are just calling the print statement, and the code behind that print is like this. Okay.
So it print me was here used as the append function.
Not exactly. Print me as a user defined function. Print me as a function name. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir.
This is only a function name, and now you are calling that function with a name car, and the age is 52. That is also defined, but you have fixed this during the definition part. Okay, when you are passing the argument first time, so then you have already fixed that value. So that's why you are not uh, going to use that age equal to 50 during the calling part again. So you can write it here also, age equals to or just 52, but I'm in doubt that whether it will work because two variable it is taking, and let me check once. No. uh, Now it is working. Okay, so this age equals to 15, you need to you can pass from here also instead of this, right? You can use that way, but this is showing the example of default argument. So default arguments means you know the value and that is fixed, so that's why you are fixing that age value, and you are not going to pass the age from during the call time. Okay, that is the example. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
And similarly, if you want to change the age value or name, so then you can use the same function print me. Now you need to change this age value and the name. So during this call, those previously fixed name or previously fixed age, that will be overwritten, and you will get the updated name and updated age. Okay, all right. Next
Sir,
is
in the fourth line, here you just show the string one equals to my name is.
no, that is not running actually. This is
Yes, sir, it is not running because
block.
hash blocked here.
Yes. What is your question?
So why did you write this here?
Okay. So I have testing. I have tested that if I am doing this, then what will happen? Because we have not written, we have directly print it from here. Okay. Now if I am trying to return something, so I can take this whole thing in a string, and then that string I can return. So when
Yes,
we'll
sir.
run this code, it will give the string itself. Okay, that's why.
We get the same result if we
Yes,
use this process
yes,
also.
yes,
And we can change the name and string age optional.
yes, yes.
Oh,
You can change from calling part also. Yes. Okay. Now variable length argument means what? When you don't know how many arguments you are going to use. Okay. How many arguments you are going to use? Because here you have used only two. So in any case, you can use 4, 5, or more than that argument. So if you don't know, so then you can use star args. So that means you don't know that how many arguments you are going to use. Okay, it's a variable length argument. And how you can use that thing? Say for example, we are taking the same function, that is simple interest calculation, and you have specified p comma t comma r here, and now instead of that you are going to use star args. So exact same code you are writing, only you have not defined p comma t comma r here, but it will run as it is, because that is the example of variable length argument. Okay. So we are getting the same output. All right. And the similar kind of thing, that is star star kw args. So that is for keyword arguments. Keyword arguments are almost same as star args, but it stores the argument in the dictionary format. So check this application, how you can use this thing. Def food star star kw args and return kw args, then you are calling this function food with a equals to apple, or you can call this function food with fruits equal to orange, comma vegetables equals to carrot, or food equal to color or orange color to yellow. So different options are there. You can call this function in different arguments, and if you run this, what you are getting that a with apple, fruit with orange, comma vegetable with carrot. So you can understand that this is a dictionary kind of thing. Okay, so these are the special kind of arguments which are not generally used, but if you know that your aim is to get this as dictionary, so then you can use this kwarg. Okay, there many things are there. Okay, so let me just give one example of scope of variables. Today's time is almost over. So scope of variables means that depends upon the location where the variable is being declared. Okay, it might be a local variable or global variable. Now, if you take this example, we are printing this message and your user defined function name is print underscore message, and the message is this one. Hello, I am going to print a message. Now you are returning the message and you are calling this print message. So what you are expecting? If I run this, obviously this message will be printed, isn't it? Is there any problem with this code? This much 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of code? I think there is no problem, right? Let's run. Yes, it is printing. Hello, I am going to print a message. So this variable message is a local to the function itself. Okay. This variable has been used under this function. So that's why it's a local variable. Now you want to print this message outside the function. Can you check that thing? So this is under the function, and this message we are trying to print outside that function. What do you think? Will it work? It will not work. See, name message is not defined because see, this message has initiated inside the function and it is dead outside the function. Now if you are trying to get the message again, print that message again, so it is saying that this message is not defined at all. So again you need to write this outside the function, and then you can print this. So then it is a global variable and it will run. Okay, so that is the example of local variable and global variable. So I hope you understood that. Otherwise I can give another example. uh, do you have any doubt? Okay.
Sir, I don't understand which point we miss here. The first when we print that doesn't come out the result. I don't get that point of which we miss that. That's why it doesn't. The output doesn't come out.
For this message.
Yes, sir. The message. Hello, I am going to print a message.
Okay.
You say that first it doesn't come. Here show the input is wrong.
No, see, I am telling that when you are writing a code, when you are writing a function, and inside that function you have defined this thing. The message is this. Okay. So this is the variable. How you can store this message variable can store this string. Hello, I am going to print a message, and that is under a user defined function which name is print message. That is okay, no problem with that. You can print that message also, and that's why if you run this, you are getting this. No problem with that. Hello, I am going to print a message. That message is printed, right? But my point is, now outside the function, if you are trying to print that message, okay, outside this function message, this is the function body and this is the calling part. So function body ended here up to return. Now you are printing outside that message, outside that function block. So this is a new print statement only, and you are trying to catch this message from here. Hello, I am going to print a message. All right, and that's why you will get the error, because that message actually is not defined outside this function, but it is inside that function. It is not possible to print the message outside the function. You can see that name message is not defined, it is saying. Okay, if you define this message again outside the function, then it will work. Then you can run, no problem with that. Got it? Okay, so today's class time is over. I think you might have different class. So there are certain points also explain what must be remembered, these few points. So I am not going to discuss it again right now, but I am going to give you this material and you can obviously try it your home. And if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the next class. Okay.